Today I want to tell you about a story about my high school days, especially when I entered 12th grade. Maybe it was a time when everyone started getting busy thinking about the future, final exams, and of course, feelings that were secretly hard to forget. When I entered 12th grade, everything felt different. Everyone started preparing many things for their future plans. But in the middle of all that busyness, I met someone who caught my attention and made me excited to come to school every day. The first time I saw him was when he was playing basketball on the court after school. Seeing that moment, I kept wanting to watch him from afar. He was quite well known at school because his appearance was a little different and more eye-catching compared to most people. At um, at first, I thought it was only a simple feeling of admiration I did not because I didn't really pay much attention to my feelings. However, every day I started noticing small things about him that caught about him that caught my attention. The way he laughed and talked with his friends and focused while she was playing basketball. But there was a moment when he started noticing me and asking about myself as if he wanted to know me better, and that made me happy. Maybe that was when my feelings for him slowly started to grow, even though sometimes I was still in denial about my own feelings. Since then, I started finding out more about him, beginning with his name and his class. It turned out that his classroom was across from mine. Whenever I stepped outside my classroom, I could clearly see his class through the window. I could even see what he was doing in his classroom. And my friends also started to notice it, and they began teasing me whenever they had the chance. One day, our school held an intra-school basketball competition. Yeah, competition. All the students looked very enthusiastic about supporting our school team. I also came with my friends to watch the match. When I saw him playing on the court, I felt amazing. He looked very confident. Everyone cheered whenever he scored points for our school. And without realizing it, I became one of the loudest people cheering for him. Mm. And in the middle of the crowded places, for the first time, our eyes met or eye contact. I intermediately looked away because I was nervous, but since that day he started greeting me for first times whenever we met at school. At the first, it was only simple greetings like "Hi" or "Haven't gone home yet." As time passed, we start talking more often. Sometimes at the cafeteria in the school hallways or after school. Even though even though our conversations were very simple, I felt comfortable talking with him. But the fast, very quick, but the pause fast very quickly before I realize it, before I realized it, the final exams were getting closer. All the students were busy studying and preparing for graduation. The atmosphere at school slowly began to change. It was no longer as lively as usual. There were actually so many things I want to tell him about how he had become the reason why I was excited to go to school every day, about how his presence made my high school days feel more colorful. But, however, before I had the chance to tell him, I made a mistake that was difficult to forgive and disappoint him. After that incident, everything became awkward, and I started to realize that my mistake had truly disappointed him. I want to apologize, but every time I tried to approach him, my courage disappeared. I was afraid that he no longer want to talk me. And my friends noticed the change as well. One afternoon after school, I saw him sitting alone near the basketball court. At that time, the school had already started to become quiet. At the first, I hesitated to approach him, but finally, I gathered my courage and walked toward him. And I said, "I'm sorry, and I know I was wrong, and I understand why you're disappointed to me." And he spoke softly. I just didn't expect it. And after that day, I apologized to him. That was the moment when we truly ended. Thank you. That's my story. Bye bye.